Here we are on Sketchfab. Let's choose a model of our liking, and let's say I'll go for this model. Okay, so the key here would be to download the model with GLTF format. If you're going to import this model into Unreal Engine, then GLTF is the format you need to go for. We'll hit download. Once it's downloaded, extract it, and let's import it into Unreal Engine. I've just fired up Unreal Engine. I'm going to choose Games, blank. I will turn on Ray Tracing. Choose where you want it to be. I'm gonna name it Test Tut. Not Tit. Tut. All right, so before we begin, I would like to turn on some project settings and some plugins. So first things first, plugins, movie, render, queue. All right, once that's done, now let's go to edit, project settings. First one is ray tracing. Use hardware ray tracing when available. Let's hit that. Ray traced shadows. Yes, why not? And texture LED. Then we will write clear coat. Check that. And lastly, clip. And I'll make it 1. All right, so once that's done, the next thing that I would like to do is import some assets into our project. Go to Marketplace. We'll use this scene for this project. Add to project, show all project, test it, select the version, whichever is the latest. It says 5.3, all right, add to project. We'll also import Automotive Material, the one from Epic Games. Same thing, add to project, show all, test it. It shows 5.1. We'll select that, add to project. Once that's done, we'll hit restart. In our contents folder, we do see Automotive Bridge Scene. Let's go in there. Let's go in Maps and let's double click on bridge_pmap. Let's cancel this out. And this is the map that we will be using. I'll hit G key to get rid of all of those decals. Now we're ready to import our car. Once again, I'll go to Content, right click, New Folder, and I'll just call it Car. Right click, Import. I'll locate where I've downloaded, which is here in my Downloads folder. Scene GLTF open. I'm gonna pretty much reset it to selected pipeline. Import. Well, import is done. Now I've added some filters here. You can go ahead here and select the filters that you like. I'm gonna hit static mesh, select the first one, hit Control A, select everything and bring it into this scene. Let's hit OK. And this is our car here. Before we go anywhere, we have the car selected. I'm just gonna hit this button and it will put everything into a folder. We'll call it car, so we stay nice and organized. Go where the folder is. Now to select the car, what we can do is click on the folder, right click, select all descendants. In this way, we can select the whole car. Now let me ground the car real quick. Okay, let's turn off the snapping. Let's do it one more time. That's it, the car is grounded and here it is. I'm just gonna rotate it. You can rotate however you like and place it wherever you like. And that's it, that's your scene right there. You see the car exactly how the creator intended it to be. If you see here, it comes with all of the bells and whistles. It has all the materials already applied to it. So you don't need to take the car to any other software like Blender or Maya or 3D Max to change or to tinker with. If you think this works for your purposes, if you don't need to do any other editing to this car, that's it. What we can do now from here is go to this burger menu, create camera here, Cine Camera actor. We got our camera down here. Let's click on the camera, perspective, camera view. You can change the focal length, maybe 35. Yeah, why not? And a few more settings. We can select focal settings, the light, so the car is in focus. And finally, if we want to change, we can change some of the settings. For example, bloom here is its standard. I like it on convolution. And I would like to up the intensity, maybe something around 5. Yeah, so we can see a nice starry pattern. And that's pretty much it. So this is the deferred rendering, or let's just say this is Lumen, what we're seeing right now. Let's check what ray tracing shows us. So for ray tracing, the bloom is a little too much. Let's cut it by half. Still too much. 1, still too much. 0.5. 0.25. That works. And this is what it looks like in ray tracing. Much better in ray tracing, but to be very honest, even when it is in Lumen, it's not a bad result. So whatever suits you. Now most of you would go right here, take high resolution screenshot, and this is something that I totally don't recommend. There are a few more steps that we will take, and we can grab a real professional render of this scene. Alright, so let's go here, add Lego sequence. Let's save it. Let's create a folder and let's call it SEQ for sequence. Double click. Let's call it SEQ, let's say 1. You can call it anything. It's down in here. We don't need our content browser for now, so we can exit out of it. And what we need to do is just take our Cine Camera, put the Cine Camera here, and it will add a camera cut by itself. That's all we needed to do. Now grab the camera that you want, just select it, put it, push it, however you like it. If you want to take a top-down scene, something like this. If you want to take something like this, I would like to have it something, how about something like this? How about that? Okay, and let's put it in focus. I'm gonna drop this so it's nicely out of focus. I'm gonna quickly have a look how it looks in path tracing. Not that bad. And yeah, that's pretty much. So what we're going to do from here is let's just select this, render this movie to a video. Let's hit that, unsaved config. We can keep it JPEG, or we can add a, let's say, PNG. And there is another one which is called EXR. This is the highest format, especially if you're going to do color grading or take the picture into Photoshop or any other editing software. This is the best format to be, but let's just keep it simple and let's have a PNG. Deferred rendering is for Lumen, but if we add path tracer, it's path tracer. Let's select one more thing, which is game overrides. So for path tracer, let's reference motion blur, even though we don't have any motion. Anti-aliasing, that's the meat and bone of this whole render. So for our purposes, since it's just one picture, so the higher the better, I'd say. You would want to stay a minimum of 32 by 32 and just hit this override anti-aliasing and leave that to none. So 32 by 32 is the base. That's the minimum you would want it to be. I'll take it somewhere at 38 by 38. And finally, in the output, now we can select the resolution. Generally, I like to go for 2560 1440. And right here it says use custom range. So we'll just use 0 to 1. We'll just take one frame. Now we'll just give it a location. I'll like to do it on my desktop and accept and hit render. It will take all the time in the world that it needs to, but it will render one frame for us, and that one frame will be the frame that we can present to a client, or that one frame that we can take it into Photoshop or any other photo editing software, work a bit more on it if we need to. But that's our final render, and that's how we render in the end, and that's how you would render professionally for a client. Alright, so there you have it, the easiest and the quickest way to get an automotive rendering. All we did, we went to the Sketchfab, downloaded the GLTF format, imported it straight away into the Unreal Engine, and voila, we created our rendering. That's it for today. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you want me to go into further details. and enhance this project. There are a lot of things that we can still do, changing some settings in the post-process volume, or maybe taking this car into Blender and enhancing it a bit. But that's a topic for another tutorial. Take care of yourselves. See you next time. Goodbye.